So it's Mike over here at Mike's Custom Works, and we got the 1986 M100. Sorry, it's an M1028. And how do you know that exactly? Going through Steel Soldiers, and there's another page I found that was talking about the plates on the trucks. So when the trucks were built like this one, it started off as an M1008. Then there is what's known as the modification plate, which is that one, where they modified it into a cargo shelter carrier M1028. So that's what this truck is. It's a 1028. Okay, cool. So now we know the military modified it from one to the other. So now we actually know what the truck is. It's a 1028, which is pretty cool. What's the reasoning for the video? Well, I have two weird options. Not options, situations. The situations is I have no brake lights and no rear turn signals. But all the lights in the front work. The running lights work and the backup lights work, except for one bulb. One bulb has to get changed. But that has nothing to do with it. What I've done so far, and this is going to be like a continuing little video episode from my cell phone, because I really just don't feel like running my camera and doing editing, so I'm just going to run down stuff quick with people. One of the few things I did was I took off the lens covers, and I checked the housings. The housings are all connected. Behind each housing is a ground. I sanded those down with my Dremel, sanded down the connectors, put the connectors on, didn't make a difference. What I do have is running lights. So when you turn your headlights on, the tail lights come on too, but not the brake lights and not the turn signals, but the reverse lights too, right? That's a real freaking great freaking thing not to have in the back end of a truck like this. Yeah, it doesn't go that fast, but nevertheless, idiots behind you texting and driving, you kind of need to let them know, like, hey, I'm stopping. I'm turning. So anyway, I did the grounds for the taillights. That didn't make a difference. Then I traced all the wiring down. I made sure all the connections were correct. Made sure everything was in there. I went through all the plugs on the back end of it. Took the plugs apart. I cleaned them. Put them back together. One guy talked about on the chassis harness. So there's a harness that runs from the fuse box to the back end of the truck. It's known as your chassis harness. I have a new one. Well, it's used, but it's new. It's new where Memphis Equipment, what they do is they'll take it off a vehicle and they test it to make sure it works before they sell it to a customer. They're not, your local Facebook scrapyard wannabe somebody who's parting out a truck and just gives it to you and it's crap. Everything actually works with clean plugs, working plugs. They got to switch out plugs and fuses, etc. That's what they do. And then, you buy it and they send it to you. You could also send them your old stuff back so they can repair it and give it to other people. So it's pretty cool. It's like one big giant recycling company that deals with military vehicles. That's memphisequipment.com. So anyway, I got a new chassis harness. So if the chassis harness has a plug on it that connects to the brake light plug, and a lot of guys talked about hardwiring it on, which I did before I bought the replacement. Which means that if I put that one in, I got a hardwire too. Not the end of the world. It's really simple. All the wires are the same color. You put color to color. It's not like yellow goes to blue. It's red goes to red, black goes to black, green goes to green, that type of shit. Yellow goes to yellow. So I hardwire that. Still no good results. Then I went over to the fuse box, which was the first thing I checked. I checked the fuse box on it, and I checked all the fuses, changed a lot of fuses. The fuses weren't bad, but I changed them anyway while I was under there. I checked that. That made no difference either. Another thing I heard was this turn signal switch. Now I feel like it's the whole switch that's in here, not just this. I replaced this one, obviously. This is a new one. So I did that. That was really simple. All you do is you basically put your hand on here, you grab it and you just pull it straight and it pops out, and then you put the new one in exactly the same way. Obviously make sure your little tabs and shit line up. That's really it. I like the little black on there and stuff, so that looked nice. It was like chrome and pitted. The black looks so much better now that I'm looking at it from this angle. I'm like, yeah, it looks a lot better than the chromey crap that was on there. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now, with still no working brake lights or turn signals on the rear of the truck. The front works though. So one of the things that I was looking at too was my blackout switches. Now when you put them in certain positions, and I think it was like service, if I'm not mistaken. Like this has to be in the up position for all the lights to work. No matter what position I put my blackout light switches in, the lights all work. Now when you put them in the blackout mode, you're supposed to have like no lights, period. No front light, no headlights, no turn signals, nothing. You're supposed to just have the blackout lights. Well, the lights work no matter what position those switches are in. So the switches might be bad, plus the plastic collar on them are bad as well, so they're not lining up. So Memphis Equipment had some new ones that I bought from them, you know, refurbished, and they tested them. Obviously they work. So I'm going to be switching those out. Hopefully that does it. I don't think so. And then I got like a lot of parts I bought. I bought like a flasher fuse. I bought a harness assembly for the whole front end of here. And yeah, so I'm just tracing all this down. If anybody that's watching this had this issue with their cut V, please comment below. I am looking for massive amount of help, because even the wiring under here has been tapped into so many times, and this vehicle, you know, changed hands 2 or 3 times after the military before I got it. And you know, all I really do is, anybody who knows my channel, is I just restore classic cars and trucks, or more trucks now than cars. And the military trucks are a little interesting with the extra wiring and stuff on them, and what goes where, and so, and it's crazy too. And if anybody was wondering, I also took the bulbs out of the back into the truck, because I thought that might have been the bulbs, and I put them in the C10, and I took the C10 bulbs that work, and I stuck them in this truck, you know, a little daisy switch, and tried it, and it didn't make a difference. Nothing worked. The only time they worked was in the C10. So I know it wasn't the bulbs. It's something else going on electrical. And everybody goes, oh, it's electrical. It's probably a ground. Yeah, I know. It's probably a ground. And there's a lot of them that I've gone through on the back end. I've gone through a lot of the grounds through there, did the same thing, cleaned them up, and that didn't make a difference either. So I'm back to the cab of the truck to start taking apart, changing stuff out, and testing as I go along. Hopefully to finally get some lights, and then I'll be a happy camper. So yeah, if anybody had this problem where they did 9 million things and it turned out to be this, that, and the other, like, please let me know. I know somebody talked about a white wire coming from there. I didn't want to start cutting white wires and splicing them together and blow something up. So you know, please definitely, if you guys know anything, please definitely comment below. Thanks.